Thank you, Zakaria. I want to thank first the Amadeus Institute for inviting me to this important conference in this prestigious room. I'll thank my twin brother, as I used to call him, Brahim, for this event. It's really very important because our African Union organization is the crossroads. We have had strong leaders at the head of this organization these few years, and they bring up to us some important point like this African Continental Free Trade Agreement. So, yes, we are right. The agreement is moving forward. Countries are ratifying. And the objective, which is to have 22, will be reached. But the most important is not only to ratify and to have an agreement. The most important is for us having that area being sustainable and enabling a real progress in intra-African trade. And to reach that, I think that there are many challenges, and sometimes when people question why the economic regions are not giving us the results in those free trade, I think it's not only a matter of tariff barriers or a unique area. We need also to address many challenges private sector and everybody is facing in the continent when it comes to trade. And I think that one of the points, and the important point, is that we have 52 countries that have signed, but one of the important countries, which is the country of my brother Joseph, Nigeria, has not yet signed. And when the most important economy of the continent has not signed yet, I think that there is a matter of interrogation on how we will implement. Beside that, I think trade, as I said, is not a matter only of tariff, because we have talked about infrastructure, and my brother Mohammed Hamidouche has talked about it. I think that everybody knows how the cost of infrastructure and logistics is very important in Africa. And when we have these major issues, time issues, cost issue, quality of infrastructure issue, it gives you really something very costly. And if we want to trade, bring products to market, bring products to other countries, we need really to address that infrastructure issue and make it less costly for our companies and the private sector. The second thing is that we need also to have goods to trade. And when I say goods to trade, it's not only raw material. We need to have Africa industrialized, because we need really to have industrialized goods to trade. Otherwise, we'll buy it from other countries. And that's also a main issue why when you look at numbers, we have less than 20% of intra-African trade, because all the manufactured goods are imported. And so we have a real challenge if we want this free trade area to be really effective, to also develop Africa industrialization, which is one of the high five of the African development banks. And a third important point is really to build regional value chains. We need to work countries with countries at a regional level. I think that the continental free trade area won't be really effective if we don't empower the regional economic communities. And when I say empower regional economic communities, it means that countries together must to really try to build regional value chain. When I say regional value chains, that means that Moroccan car industry must talk to Ghana and Guinea bauxite industry to be more industrialized, to complete the car value chain. Must talk also to the Côte d'Ivoire EVA industry to be sure that we will have tire manufacture in Côte d'Ivoire. And that's how we will move forward in industrialization and also develop our continental value chain and intra-African trade. The fourth point for me is about how will we move forward in the negotiations in the African continental free trade area. Because as everybody knows, 90% of the goods will be in the free trade list. But what about those 10%? Some are saying that 5% will be out of tax in a period, and 5% of the goods will be excluded from the free trade area. But the main point is, what are those goods each country will put in the exclusions? Because if between us, each of us puts in the exclusions the goods we can trade between us, there will be no goods to trade. So it's also an important point, and I think that all those countries that are very conservative and protective need to look at that to see how we can really develop those points. And the last point for me is also very important, is how will be the rules of origin? What will be a good produced in Africa? Is it a 10% value added in Africa, or will it be 40%? Because it's a real debate, because some says if you put a high rate of rule of origin, you have an issue of industrialization, because many international firms won't come and invest in the continent. But also, if you put low rates of value added in the rules of origin, you can have some countries where they will just bring goods from other continents and have some packaging and little value added and make it African and enter the free trade area. So that are, I think, some important challenges on which we need to really work. We need to address them to be sure that it will not be only a matter of signing, of ratifying, and taking out the tariffs, but also a real program, a real strategy to develop African, intra-African trade. And that's the first point I wanted to put in these discussions today. Thank you.